Hello, all you positive heads out there. It's so good to be back with all you beautiful reflections of the one source consciousness that creates and animates all things. If you're new to this podcast, of course, we're super happy to have you here. And if you've been listening and enjoying for a while, I would be super grateful if you would please take a moment to give us a review on Apple Podcasts. It's one of the best and simplest ways to pay it forward and help others find the show so that they too can tap into the powerful perspectives and positive vibrations we are collectively emanating. The other unique and magical way to share this show is by sending any friends you think would benefit from listening to this podcast our Game with the Universe link at positivehead.com/game. Also listed in the show notes, which will serve them up a quote unquote random episode when they click it. Just instruct them before clicking the link to close their eyes for a moment and sincerely ask the universe to queue up the episode that contains the insight and perspectives that they most need to hear at this point in their life journey, and then click to listen to whatever episode is synchronistically served up to them. I have heard time and time again from people about the incredible results they received playing the game. So just tell your friends magical results are guaranteed or their karma back.
All right, all you positive heads, welcome one and all. I am super grateful that you've joined me on this magical today. And today I want to give special thanks to a very special listener who I had the honor of connecting with over the weekend and who was the inspiration for today's topic, which is everything is purposeful. Everything that we have experienced in this existence is purposeful. We may not understand the purpose behind the things that have happened to us in our life, the experiences that we have had, the things that have happened for us, let me rephrase, because it's just that. These things are happening for us. They're never happening to us. We're having an experience, and this experience is purposeful. It is happening for a very good reason. And that reason, oftentimes in our human mind, isn't easy to come to, isn't easy to find. And so we can get stuck in that, needing to find this reason to why this thing happened to us and what is that purpose. An easier way to get to that is to reframe that question. Why did this happen for me? And what am I supposed to be learning from it? When you look back on the things that have happened in your life, what has it done for you? How has it made you who you are today? How is that experience purposeful in your life? And some of you may be saying, it's not. It was horrific. It was terrible. Well, yes, that's true. It was. But what can you learn from it? There is something to be learned, and it is purposeful. There's not a single thing in this existence that is not, because the Creator has a divine plan, a divine purpose. And this purpose is for all of us to experience. It's the whole reason why we exist in the first place, to go out and experience, to learn all the things that are possible to learn, to have all of the possible experiences. And I think in order to really explain this and how this all works, I think we need to go back to the beginning, way, way back to the very, very beginning, to Creator, to where none of this existed, not a single material thing at all. It was just nothing, just light. Well, those are two different things. We come from this light that was created from the nothing. And this light, this Creator source, this great central sun, decided, hold on a second, I know everything. This consciousness is all there is. And because I know everything, I'm bored. I want to have some experience. I want to learn. I want to experience something different. And so Creator then decided to split itself, to spread itself out throughout the creation, which is why we have a creation, because Creator decided to fractalize, to split itself off into billions and billions of different pieces in order to have experience. This could not happen unless this illusory separation occurred, because it is an illusion, because at the end of the day, this separation is not real. We all exist in this oneness, in this fabric of unity, in this tapestry, this beautiful tapestry that is one. We just feel that we're separate. A creator decided that for us, so that we could have this experience. We couldn't have this experience if we didn't feel separate. And so we were all granted free will to make choices, free will to do what we want, free will to have the choice to look at things in a negative light or in a positive light, to be able to find that silver lining in all of our situations, to be able to find that purpose, to find the lesson, to learn, to let go, to feel, first feel, let go, and move on. So incredibly important. It's the only way that we learn. So originally we spread out, we burst out from Creator. And the very first thing we do as initiatory beings is become the elements, the earth, the air, the fire, and the water. When we burst out from Creator, we have to experience everything from the very micro to the macro as it exists in that existence, in that creation. And so we begin as the elements. That means we have all been the elements. Each and every single one of us has been the water, the earth, the air, and the fire. We've had to experience these things in order to become human. We then, after being the elements, then experience being bugs and plants and trees and flowers and butterflies and cheetahs and rhinoceroses and all of the fun things that we could possibly be. And we have to experience all of these things in order to become human. And there's so many different steps along the way in terms of our learning. And so what do we learn as an elemental? Well, you learn power. You learn existence. You learn awareness of being. The first thing to learn, awareness of being, how to exist, how to be. This is the very first lesson, and we learn that as the elements. And as the elements, we also learn from each other. So the fire learns from the water and the air and the earth learns from the water and the fire and the air. They all learn and coexist, working together, learning with each other in the different cycles of life and death. We will always see these cycles of life and death throughout all of these stages of learning. And so that brings up a point that death is a part of this cycle. It's a very important part of this cycle, for without it, this cycle would not continue to be a cycle. And this cycle is incredibly important because it is a very large aspect of how we learn. The hero's journey, all the different lessons in that cycle. We have to go through all of these different stages in order to learn, experience all the different aspects to life and to death. We have to understand it all. And isn't it fascinating in our society today? It hasn't always been this way. It's more in modern times now that we have this intense fear of death. Not so much a fear of life, because that's a whole lot scarier, by the way. It's a whole lot more difficult to exist here than in the spirit world, where it's very peaceful and loving all the time, which is different than it is here, obviously. And so we have it twisted. We have it backwards. We're terrified of something that is actually not fearful at all. And in this existence, while there is nothing to fear, we also wind up being fearful of different aspects of life, not of living life, but of different aspects along the way. And this fear aspect is just a part of the illusion. It's a part of the separation. It's not true. It doesn't really exist. What fear actually is a lack of love, a lack of unity, a lack of remembrance, a lack of understanding that we are all one. As the elements, we understand our oneness and unity, even as we move up into being plant life and into the animal kingdom. We still understand our unity. Up until that point, we still have group consciousness, where telepathically, each being understands what the other one knows. This is why birds can move together in a flock, or a herd of deer or antelope or whatever type of herd of cattle, they will all know at the same time to run from danger. They will swiftly all move at the same exact time because of this group collective consciousness.
Before we continue on with today's episode, for those of you interested in getting more fantastic fungi in your life, I want to take a quick moment to tell you about a friend of mine's brand new company, The Great Mother. Recently, I have been drinking The Great Mother's superfood mushroom coffee alternative called Ritual, as well as regularly taking their awesome Ally microdoses, and I am truly loving both. As you probably know, these days, many of the world's highest achievers and performers swear by microdosing. The problem is it can still be difficult to get a hold of magic mushrooms. That's why when my friend reached out, who lives in an area and country where legalization is not a problem like it was in the past, and said he'd be willing to offer microdoses to my listeners, I wanted to pass the word along. Ally microdoses are 100% organic. And in addition to a small amount of the magic active ingredient, they also contain functional mushrooms like lion's mane, cordyceps, chaga, and other brain boosters like bacopa. Ally is essentially a full spectrum nootropic. And of course, the coffee alternative Ritual doesn't contain magic mushrooms, but it has an array of the best organic functional mushrooms in the world. And, with functional mushrooms, it's really important to get them from the highest integrity sources. And whereas some other highly popular mushroom coffee alternatives on the market only contain a few varieties of functional mushrooms in their actual ingredients, Ritual has 7. Not only does it contain more types, it also contains 3 to 4 times the amount that the big brands have in each serving. And it tastes amazing. I actually like to have it on its own, as well as mixing it into my coffee sometimes as well. However, since this is definitely a unique offering, there are a few steps. First, just reach out and request to follow the private page, thegreat.mother on Instagram. Once you've been accepted to follow, just message what you're interested in getting and someone will get back to you.
Now, what happens after the evolution evolves, we get to experience pets. So pets come into the household with humans, and humans help pets to learn to be human. They teach them love. And pets are separated from that group consciousness. They're separated from the pack, and they have a new human pack learning different lessons. And so the pets are the last stage into being human. And I love to think about that because I look at my dog, who I love so incredibly much. And ever since I had the pleasure of having her in my existence, she has always been a person to me. She feels like a person. She's ready to be a human. And she gets to live with us before she transitions into that next phase. And I love it. I love it so much that to look at our pets in this way and to be so grateful that we get to be the ones to help them along this evolutionary path, to help them move into their next dimension, because the animals, the trees, the plants are all in a second dimension, living in our 3D reality, because when you're in a certain dimension, you can see all the other dimensions below you, but not the ones above you, because the ones below you are slower. So think about a rock. A rock is super slow, doesn't ever move, so we can see it. Same thing for bugs and plants and animal life and even ourselves. Our densities are slow. They're not moving so fast, not vibrating as quickly as in the higher densities. So these densities exist all around us all the time. We just can't see the ones that are above us. So we'll get to those ones above us in a minute. So once we transition from being an animal, or even, by the way, a tree that has been loved by a family and cared for and has learned to love in this way, that tree can then transition on to be a human. So once this human transition has happened, then it's a whole new ballgame, because there's so many different types of humans we can be. We need to be male. We need to be female. We need to be heterosexual, homosexual. We need to be of every single different race, religion, cultural ethnicity, all the things. That's a lot of things. And how cool is that? When you really think about that, that means each and every human here on this planet has been a different has had a different experience, has been in a different culture, a different religion, a different skin color. So if today you're a white person, guarantee you back in the day, you were not. And if you're a Native American today, you may have been a white person before. And that's maybe not an easy thought for Native Americans today, to think about themselves as possibly being a white person in the past, and possibly a white person who was responsible for what happened to their culture. And here's where karma comes into the mix, because throughout all of these experiences, being all the different kinds of humans that we can be, we don't always make the right decisions. Because of free will, we don't always do things along the positive path. Sometimes we make decisions that when we get to the spirit side, we say, uh-oh, I didn't quite do that the way I wanted to do it. I didn't follow the loving path. I went towards the self-service path. So I'm going to need to do that all over again. Let me try it a different way. And now that I did that, then I need to learn what it was like for that experience to occur. I need to experience that too. And so if we were the persecutor in a past life, then we then turn into the victim in the next life, or vice versa. The victim in a past life turns into the persecutor in this life, because we all need to experience what it is like to be all of these things. And that can be a hard pill to swallow a lot of times. But at the same time, I also feel that it is a humongous unity pill. So we get to decide, again, we have this free will choice. Do we get to look at that and say, wow, we're all connected. We're all part of the same fabric, come from the same stuff, all from this stardust, all from creation, all experiencing the same things, maybe not in our apparent now. And of course, that's an apparent now because all things are happening now. So all these existences that we've had in all the different countries, all the different religions, all the different colors of skin, it's all happening right now. We just can't see it. We can't see it, but we do have access to it. And that's really cool. Through this veil of our mind, we are all veiled here. We have this veil in between our conscious mind and our subconscious mind that keeps us from knowing all of the things, knowing all of our other aspects, all of the different parallel and multi-dimensional aspects of ourselves. But we do have this within our memories, and it is easy to access. And all it takes is quietness, silence of mind, and asking a question, going into this experience with an intention and a question. And your higher self will guide you with enough practice. You can step in to any of these lives that are most appropriate for you to see now, that will help you understand this purpose, your purpose, because there is a purpose, a huge purpose. There's not a single one of us here in this existence that doesn't have a grand purpose. And that grand purpose, for most, is to be the drop in the bucket of light and to keep shining that light. Because the more of us that do that, the more we grow this light and the more we all evolve. Then we ascend. It has to be a group collective thing. We have to bring a majority of us along. Otherwise, it's not going to happen. And so our purpose here is to shine our light, to be happy, to follow our passions. That is our purpose. We all think we have this grandiose purpose. And really, that is the grandiose purpose. There's not a single one of us here that is here to change the world by ourselves. We're here to do this as a collective, to come together in unity and oneness, and to understand that we are part of this humongous fabric. And there's not a single one of us here that is more special than another. We're all in this together. And the more of us that shine our light, the faster we go. And so this existence here, all of these experiences are here for us to make this choice to follow the light or to step into the darkness. We get to decide. So the more of us that use the power of our will to step into the light, the brighter we become and the faster we go. All of us are here doing this, and this is our purpose. It's our soul's purpose because we left Creator, and ultimately we like to go back. So we have to learn all these lessons. And again, from the soul's perspective, when we go back to the spirit side, it's imperative. It's like yes, I have to do this. It's an internal need. It's not a thing a box that needs to be checked off in order for you to graduate. It's an internal thing. It's a thing that you want to do on your own to learn these lessons so that you can remember it all. And so we have all these different steps in order to get back to creator. And this is just like in the middle. We're kind of in the middle here. Once we get to our next step, the fourth density or the fifth dimension, whatever you want to call it, all these different terminologies, it all means the same thing. The next level, the next vibrational level that we're going to. And when I say going to, I mean solidifying, because we're already there. The energy is there, but how much are we present in that reality? How much of our physicality is in that dimension where we're seeing that every single day? That all depends on our choice. And if you are making these choices of shining your light and being in love and seeing the unity around us all the time, understanding our connections, then what you will also notice is you become more psychic. You become more telepathic, maybe even prophetic. All of these things are natural on this new energetic level. We are aware of other people's energies. We can feel them. I've always had this internal sense. I call it like a good egg, bad egg meter. I can meet someone and I can know right away if it's someone whose energy I want to be around or an energy that I want to run clear away from. And this will be apparent with everyone in this new dimension. Now, when we move on from there, we move into a density that is more light, where we're actually light beings. And our whole job there is learning wisdom. We continue from there to, again, be lighter light beings. And now we're integrating love and wisdom. We're unifying this concept. And when we do this is when we are very close to going back to creator, to where we have learned everything there is to know, to how to create with our mind, how to do everything with our mind, because at that level, that's how it works. There is no physical. It is just mental. And to be able to go back to this place, to understand all of the love, all of the wisdom, understand the unity in all, at that point, we get to go back to source. And then once we do that, we'll stay there for a little bit, decide we're bored, come out and experience it all again, create another cycle. That is the purpose, to learn, to have the experience, and to just be and exist, to be present in this now, knowing that this is a collective, beautiful tapestry that we all make. We all make beautiful and shiny and vibrant. And the more we shine, the brighter we shine together. I think that's going to be it for me today, everybody. I'm going to leave you with this song by Symbolico, The Divine Purpose, Divine Circus Remix. Until next time, I love you all.